This week's feature will be on this set that gets shipped tomorrow. I was happy to report there wasn't a slider in the bunch from a large purchase I made to serve 2.5 customers. Don't ask me what a half a customer is. Anyhow, anybody know how difficult it is to put that set together? 61 coins, the so-called short set of Washington quarters, starting at 41p and going all the way to 64D. And you get back before 41, they get really salty. But there's some better dates in here. Some of you probably know. 41 DNS, 42 DNS, 43 DNS, and then oddly, the next toughest dates jump all the way to 49 P and D. Once you get into the 50s, they're not that tough. Some of the heavy hitter varieties that you want to look for. Let's see if I can do this from memory. They're not as heavy as they used to be, but the Type B reverses of 1956 through 1964, where the ENS and states will have a gap. They're nice collectibles. There's 9 different dates you can look for. If the ENS is touching, that's not a Type 2, that's a Type 1. Basically what happened was they mistakenly used proof dies to strike business strike Philly quarters. The other heavy hitters that most people know, it's been in the red book since Moby Dick was a minnow, is the 1950 D over S and the 1950 S over D. They're pretty easy to see because it looks like the mint mark is a mess. You put a 5X loop on it and you'll see the over mint mark. A couple of the other ones outside of my realm, but very big heavy hitters, would be the 43P Fivis Stanton 103 DDO. That's a lottery ticket coin. The 1942D DDR. I don't have the Fivis Stanton number on that one. The 43S DDO, that's another heavy hitter coin. And there's some lots of lesser varieties for your era hounds. I don't do that kind of stuff. I look for the heavy hitters. And the easiest way to make sure you've got one that matches is go to Variety Vista and pull up the date that you're looking at, and then you can, for example, here's a 43S. This is one of the heavy hitters. Fivis Stanton 101. If you couldn't see that with a 3X loop on Trust, well, then maybe you shouldn't be into varieties. Anyhow, this is a train wreck of a video. I'll get better at these YouTube videos for coin people once I have a better setup. But I figured it was, let's go a little deeper on the Washington Quarter Series, since I'm going from flying by the hip here. Hopefully that Washington Quarter Series, one of the funnest series to collect. It's still within the means of most collectors in even in low-end mint state. Obviously, you want to knock the 32 and D and S out first, because they're the 2 key dates. The old adage never fails. Get the big boys out of the way first, because they're the ones that are going to have the most staying power as far as price and value. What else do I want to add about that series? It's one of my favorites. Once upon a time, I was down to 7 coins, and I would have had mine completed, but I sold it to the LCS. 2004, that happened. I'm probably missing some basics. Should have probably prepared a little better, eh? Oh. Yeah, that's a video for another day, and I don't want to go off target too much on what I'm trying to present here. Oh, a little history on that. When the Washington Quarter Series was neglected for many, many decades, and then if y'all are old enough to remember the state quarter program, it's one of its goals the mint had was it would bring new collectors into the hobby. And people started looking at their change and, oh wow, there's a Delaware on the back. Oh, look at this, that's my state. And many people put state quarter folders together. They're not worth much in BU. They're nice to have, give to your kids, give to your grandkids. But what happened at that point was roughly 10% of the people that found coins for the first time started taking coin collecting seriously. So as they started to look backwards into their collection and starting to try to complete an uncirculated set, they started with the clad dates, 1965 through 1998. They were still readily available, except for 82 P&D and 83 P&D. That's a story for another day. And once they finished that, they started working backwards into the silver issues. For years, the prices had not moved much on any of those silver issues, including the 32 P&D or the 32 DNS. But once there was an enormous new population of collectors coming into the market, some of those early dates started to increase in price. 50%, 75%, and at some point they stabilized. And, you know, they'll never be cheap again, is what I'm trying to say. And now that I'm at 10 minutes, I am done with this video. Oh, I'm only at 5. That was a waste of money. If you have any questions on the Washington Quarter series, whether you be beginner, newbie, or advanced enthusiast, type a comment. Do that, what's it called, like and share thing up above, the experts do on this stuff. And I'll get back to you. I will throw a rhetorical question out at you. If you would buy a deal that included 638 coins, and that's what this deal did in quarters. There was other stuff in the package, but the point is, it's a long-time dealer that Kenjo has done business with since late 90s. And as you speed checked your box and discovered there was 7 coins that were missing. Not cheap, not expensive coins, clad quarters. But then you discovered you had 7 extras. The album that was supposed to include that complete clad run, which is 106 coins, silver proof, clad proof, all the P's and D's except for the 81 Type 2 proof, and you ended up with not having a 68, a 69, a 70, a 71, a 72, and a 74 Philly mint, and you didn't have a 73D Denver mint, but in the spots in the album, you ended up with duplicates of 68D, 69D, 70D, 71D, 73D, 74S, and an extra 72S proof. What would you do about that? And assuming that the set was as advertised as far as grade, there wasn't any junk in that set. Yeah, 2/3, almost 80% of the proofs need conservation, fingerprints, some haze, stuff that you can fix if you have the time. Would you call them and complain? What would you all do? 638 coins, and you're missing 7, but you got 7 extras. What would you do? I know what I'm going to do, and that's for tomorrow morning, because this video is over at 1 a.m. in the East on Monday morning, February 7th. So I'll call them today, but it'll be tomorrow because I'm sleeping, and I don't count tomorrow until I go to sleep and wake up. This was a mess, but I'm going to post it. If it uploads to YouTube, I'll get better at this. I'll have a better setup. But hopefully some of you Washington Quarter enthusiasts will have some intelligent questions, and we'll see if we can help you out. All right? Have a nice evening. Go Caps.